the son of 2 coaches, a human girl, and the coaches they meet along the way. Will the Just Dancers be able to stop Night Swan? My name is Avery, and if I was ripped from the safety of my own home into a blindingly colorful world where everyone is happy 24/7, well, I'm sorry to say I would have an extensive mental breakdown of catastrophic proportions and would require weekly therapy for at least 12 to 24 months. But that's just a theory. A game theory. After all my mini lore videos, the time has finally come for the big one. This is all the lore in the story mode for Just Dance 2023. Throughout the video, I'll be referring to the story mode as Enter the Dance Verses because that's what it's called. I'll also be combining map and lore analysis for each map because we have 7 maps to cover. And before we get to the last map, I will give you a spoiler alert, but honestly, the game's been out for like 9 months at this point, so I would assume most people know the ending. With all that out of the way, let's break down the lore for Enter the Dance Verses in Just Dance 2023. Our first map is Can't Stop the Feeling by Justin Timberlake. The map begins with our protagonist, Sarah, sitting on a couch with her friends in the real world, watching as her friends play Just Dance. The coach on screen, who we know as Wanderlust, tosses his disco ball into the real world, and as Sarah takes hold of it, she's transported into the Just Dance universe. Wanderlust is the son of 2 previous coaches, Siha Nova from Levitating and the Traveler from Rock Your Body. These 2 coaches also danced together in Save Your Tears in Just Dance 2022. I actually have an entire lore video just dedicated to these 2, so if you want more in-depth details, I would go check that out. Wanderlust begins to teach Sarah how to dance, and other coaches from the Just Dance series come in to help. First, the coach from last Friday night, named Liza, comes in to teach Sarah her moves. This is a really nice touch because this is exactly how Liza was introduced to the series in 2022. Then, another coach from I Like It comes in to teach Sarah his moves. Next is a coach from the Quartet for Temperature by Sean Paul. And lastly is the alien coach from Sweet Sensation. It's clear that Wanderlust has a power to transport between different dance verses, and he's bringing Sarah along for the ride to show her each one. At the end of the map, they celebrate together, but not for very long. A mysterious figure comes up from behind the horizon and kidnaps the previous coaches. Sarah and Wanderlust make it their mission to save these coaches. Wanderlust creates a portal to another map that we'll see soon, and they run off together. A quick detail before we move on, Sarah and Wanderlust both have triangle symbols on their costumes. This could be a callback to Siha Nova and the Traveler, as they both create triangles in their maps when they try to find each other. It was a cute little detail to represent the power Wanderlust gained from his parents. Alright, moving on. The next map is Witch, which introduces us to our villain, Night Swan. The map for Witch begins with Night Swan sitting on her throne, and standing by her side is her son Jack Rose. Night Swan moves from her throne into a larger clearing in the throne room, and we see her begin to convert the past coaches into bird-like creatures. In the background, we can see at least 100 other bird-like creatures, all presumably other coaches that she's kidnapped to join her army, and serve. As the song reaches a climax, she begins to summon portals to other maps that rise from the ground. Currently, the only coaches in the Just Dance universe who can summon portals are Night Swan, Wanderlust, and the Traveler, which is Wanderlust's father. As the map ends, we see Night Swan posing while her army marches around the throne room and into other maps. Some important backstory about Night Swan is that she was a failed ballerina, something that drove her to madness. And she seems to have a big issue with anyone who loves dancing. Now let's get back to Wanderlust and Sarah on their mission to recruit help to defeat Night Swan. In the map for Physical by Dua Lipa, we meet Breziana. As she walks through a shopping mall, she stops in an open clearing and sets down her boombox. Other people in the mall are inspired by Breziana and join her in dancing. By the time the bridge hits, the other dancers are exhausted and fall to the floor, but Breziana inspires them to keep going and they finish off the dance all together. This is when Wanderlust and Sarah appear from a portal in the mall. They ask if she'd like to join the team, and she accepts. One detail I really like about this map is the little symbols of hearts. The speakers on Breziana's boombox are shaped like hearts, as is the symbol on her shirt. This could represent her love and kindness for others, or her ability to rally people when they're down. The next map in the story is Ratherby, where we meet Mihai. We first see them walking through a crowd in Dance City, but once they put in their earbuds, the music starts and they transport to another place. Throughout the map, we see Mihai dancing on floating platforms around waterfalls and rocky sculptures. During the bridge of the song, they're greeted by Master Panda, who dances along Mihai. The panda is also the mascot for the Just Dance series. From the backgrounds available in Just Dance 2023, we know this setting is called the Temple of Master Panda, so it looks as though Mihai is an apprentice and the panda is their teacher. As the panda says goodbye, he embeds a paw symbol on Mihai's shirt. The symbol could represent the determination and skill that comes with training. After the panda leaves, a portal opens and Wanderlust, Breziana, and Sarah walk through. Although initially apprehensive, Mihai agrees to join them on their mission. The next map is where things start to get juicy, so buckle up. In the map for Locked Out of Heaven, we meet none other than Night Swan's son, Jack Rose. The map begins with Jack as a child, trying to learn to dance in his room when his mother, Night Swan, enters and looks at him disapprovingly. The camera then transitions from him as a child to him as an adult, doing the exact same dance moves in the same room, but more refined. It's clear from the map that Jack feels locked out of heaven by way of wanting to be a performer, but dealing with the disapproval of his mother. Throughout the map, he performs for a massive crowd within the Night Swan Tower, but because his mother would never approve of this, it's likely to be his imagination. I want to mention that Jack Rose also has a symbol on his chest, but to me, it could mean two different things. The symbol is a feather, which could be his loyalty to his mother's army, or it could represent how he's had to practice dancing in secret by being light as a feather. Or maybe it means both. At the end of the map, his mother catches him dancing again, and just as she leaves, the portal opens and our Just Dancers walk through. And the map ends on a cliffhanger. We've reached the final battle, so if you're trying to avoid spoilers, just letting you know I'm going to spoil literally everything. The story reaches ahead in the map for Majesty, and the map picks up where Locked Out of Heaven leaves off. The Just Dancers step out of the portal, and Wanderlust tries to introduce himself to Jack. However, Jack is conflicted between trusting the Just Dancers and staying loyal to his mother. Despite Wanderlust's best efforts, Jack ultimately stays true to Night Swan and converts Wanderlust into a minion that, say it with me now, serves. The battle between the Just Dancers and the Night Swan army begins. First, the minion version of Wanderlust battles with Jack. You can tell by his expression that Jack is feeling a bit concerned and maybe even regretful. Next, we see Breziana battling with another minion, but with her dancing, she's able to set them free, and it turns out to be the Sweet Sensation alien coach from the very beginning of the story. Then we see Mihai battling with another coach and successfully frees the coach from I Like It. Fun fact, in this part of the map, you can see Jack Rose arguing with Night Swan in the background, likely asking her to stand down and listen to reason. Here we see Jack battling with a minion again, but he gives in to his temptation, performs his dance from Locked Out of Heaven, and sets Wanderlust free. Another little fun fact about this move is it's the exact same move Wanderlust's parents do in Just Dance 2022. We move back to Breziana and Mihai battling with more minions and setting more coaches free, including the coaches from Temperature and Last Friday Night. At the climax of the map, we see the Just Dancers facing off with Night Swan directly, and they manage to overcome her. However, she successfully summons a portal and disappears. The Just Dancers celebrate their win, and the map ends with the disco ball shining a bright light. The story ends in the map for If You Wanna Party, a Ubisoft original song that celebrates the coaches and their friendship together. The map takes place within the disco ball, and you can see previous Just Dance maps being played through the mirror squares. My personal favorite part of the map is when they show the maps for Levitating and Rock Your Body right next to each other in the background. It's like they're watching over their son. The story ends with Sarah saying goodbye and being transported back to the real world. Just Dance lore is quite new to the series, but to me, it's no question why it's so popular, and I think that's because every character resonates with someone. Each coach represents a different personal superpower, like Mihai's determination or Breziana's heart. And each coach also represents a different struggle, like Night Swan's dreams of being a ballerina being crushed, and her continuing the cycle with her son, Jack. The characters are diverse and relatable, and there's something in each one that we could potentially see in ourselves. Considering this is Just Dance's first real story mode, I think they did an incredible job at telling the story in a way that can engage with younger players, but resonate with older players. On a personal note, I cried the first time I watched Rather Be because the way music seems to transport Mihai to another place is exactly how I feel about dancing. It was the perfect external representation of what my passion makes me feel internally. They could have easily told this story in the same flat maps that they'd been making for years, but they chose the more difficult route in telling the story with more creativity, like using different camera angles, transitions, and mechanical effects to help tell the story. And to me, these huge creative leaps completely paid off. This game and story mode have made it very clear. This is a new era of Just Dance. Now, at the time of writing and filming this video, which is July 2023, we don't have a ton of details on Just Dance 2024, but there are a few potential ties that this story mode can make with the new one. For starters, it's been stated that we will see certain characters return in 2024, and that the story will take a darker turn. There's also a theory around one of the new coaches. When Just Dance 2024 was announced, the map for sale by AWOL Nation was made available for 1 week. The map featured a pirate named Captain Crimson who has red hair, and people couldn't help but find the similarities between him and Jack Rose. The big theory right now is that Captain Crimson is Jack's father. Another theory from the Showdown season of 2023 is that the coach for Began, named Cygnus, could be related to the Night Swan family. We know he is the architect for Eternix, the darker, more villainous danceverse, but he does similar moves as Jack Rose when he's performing, so perhaps he could be the black sheep brother of the family. Now, there are a few theories I want to touch on because everyone knows I love to put my little tinfoil hat on when I can. The biggest one for me is, where did Night Swan go? She's clearly not dead, she's just in another map or danceverse. The lore guardian for Just Dance has confirmed that she went back to Eternix to rest, but we don't have any other info besides that. I think there is a lot of lore they can touch on for Night Swan, like what her life was like before her ballerina days or even during them. I'm always interested in a villain origin story. My next question is, now that we've met the son of Sihanova and the Traveler, will we ever get to see them again? Our only glimpse of them in this game is at the beginning of the alternate version of Can't Stop the Feeling, where we see them combine hands and it transitioned to showing us Wanderlust. But given that's the only time we see his parents, he seems like he's kind of on his own. Don't get me wrong, he's clearly an adult man, so I'm sure he's fine. But I would like to see a family reunion. And speaking of family reunions, this is my favorite theory. Could Night Swan and Wanderlust be related somehow? As for right now, the only coaches we know of that can create portals to other Just Dance maps are Night Swan, Wanderlust, and Wanderlust's father, the Traveler. If Wanderlust inherited this power from his father, then is it possible that Night Swan is part of the same family tree somewhere? Probably not like immediate family, maybe like an aunt or a cousin twice removed or something. But it seems like there has to be some relation there in some way. Those are all the questions I have about the story, but if you have other theories or questions you want answered, please let me know in the comments because I love talking about conspiracies with everyone else. Any chance I get to go down a lore rabbit hole, I'll take it. Overall, Enter the Danceverses is a very impressive step in the right direction for Just Dance. And if this is their first story mode that they've made, my standards are sky high for the next one. I'm always really blown away by the team's creativity when it comes to creating these stories, so I can't wait to see what else they have in store. Just Dance 2024 is coming out in October, so we'll only have to wait about 3 more months before we get some new stories and maybe updates to old ones. Thank you so much for watching this video, but thank you even more for your patience. I made a shorter version of this video for TikTok and people seem to really like it, but I knew that when I wanted to make it for YouTube, I wanted to make sure I had every detail covered, and I'm sure I missed some, so if there's anything I forgot to cover in this, please let me know in the comments. I love making lore videos. I actually have quite a few already centered around different maps, so if you want to go watch those, they're available. I have a playlist on my channel. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. To be honest, I've kind of run out of lore to talk about at this point, so if there are any maps you'd like me to analyze, please let me know. These videos are so much fun for me to make, and I hope they're just as fun for you to watch. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! My next question is, now that we've met the son of Sihanova and Wanderlust... No, wrong, wrong.